Hello, this is Hellsen, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be going over our variants in economy and R&D against my PBEM Vs Deaniks using the Pacific First mod. In our last video, we went over what was different in the mod itself compared to the base game. Now we're going to go over what I added with my variants. Our very first one, so we get 29 points that we spent in economy. Our first one, we put a repair yard in Cameron Bay. That's a 50 repair yard that we will expand just because we're going to have a lot of ships probably damaged and big ships. We split up the HA 41 or HA 43 engine to come out in 143. We spent 8 points on 50 extra political points per day. We actually spent 4 points and start off with an extra 2,000 political points. For 1 point, we gave our leaders an upgrade. Now, when I say leaders an upgrade, that means we took a lieutenant commander and made it a captain. So we just made like high naval skill lieutenant commanders captain, so they can captain CVs and battleships and that. We added 300k supply, and I'm not sure what this 150k points are. So I apologize. It's been a long time since I set this up because I had to mod this myself. In air, we spent 78 points. We spent 6 points to bump up the grace to 244, and 6 points to bump up the A6M2 to 944. I spent 20 points to add 50 the A6M2, A6M3, KI-44-2A, which is Tojo, D3A2, which is Val, and B5N2, which is Kate, and the KI-43-2A, which is Oscar. So we added 50 of each one of these planes to our pool, and then we spent 20 points adding 25 Mavises. This is the 2 long-range 4-engine heavy bombers that I get, and 25 of the 4 actual heavy engine bombers. I spent 20 points to upgrade my pilot XP by 10. So we did both units, or we did the Navy in 41, 42, and 43. We added 10 to their XP, and we added 10 to the Army and 41 and 42 alone. I spent 2 points to move up the H6 radar by 6 months. I added 1,500 pilots to the IGN and 500 pilots to the IGN pool at the start. I added 100 IGN pilots to the pool every month in 42. I resized the 47th and the 1st Sentai. These were, I want to say, Tojo Squadrons. It cost me 8 points to resize those. And then I resized these squadrons here. I didn't, this resizing them to 50, so they're just bigger. These were squadrons that started off at like 9 or something like that. Something that wasn't big, but we was able to resize them to 50. I didn't pay the extra points on these guys because these were like Nates. I wasn't going to spend a bunch of points to get a bunch of Nates. So I just increased them to 50. I'll switch them out for Tojos and Oscars when we get them. Now, the big spender. 285.5 points that I spend on the Navy. So Hiryu, Soryu, Junyu, Hiyo, Kaga, Amagi, Akagi, Shokaku, and Zukaku have all been changed to the Hakura class. And then I changed paid a little bit extra to change their squadrons at the start to 45 Kates, 50 Zeros, and 23 Vals. The new constructions, I'm leaving those alone. Basically, like Junyo Helio, when they come in, I didn't pay extra points for those because I can just resize them. They'll be in the homeland. But I wanted the starting carriers to be at maxed out. Ryo, Soho, Zuho, Nishu, Mizu, Ryo, and Chodo introduced to all Ibuki classes, and then also paid extra points to deploy them with 20 B5N2s, I think, Kates, 35 Zeros, and 13 Val 2s, and then again, any new constructions, which I think is, which one's the new one? One of the Rihos comes in later, and I think Shoho comes in later. Again, I didn't spend extra points for that. All the Kongos, the Ice, and Fuso class we changed to 150 class. So basically we took a lot of the older battleships that we didn't have, and we turned them into our super battleships, which are... actually, no, I could just choose, I guess, one of those. We'll show you a little. Now, these are monster battleships. These were the Super Yamatos. So these come in with 51 centimeter guns, which are 20-inch guns. Got 6 of them. They have a ridiculous armor belt, and they're also worth about 368 points apiece. I can show you the Hayu class. So this is the Hakura class. This is the best one I get. Comes in with an air capacity of 108. It has a lot more torpedoes, and it's 466 points. But it starts off with even speed. You know, we can do 10. So we can do a max full speed of 20. What's probably going to hurt that, it's going to be the scouting ships, actually. That's going to slow us down. It's got decent endurance, decent armor belts for a carrier. And the Ibukis are great for no armor. Okay, speed, we can only do 8, but hey, we'll take it. But it also has, for a light carrier, 60 aircraft, we'll take it. Let's see here. And next ones were, we added an extra 8 of the Raider Squadrons with no aircraft in the squadrons to arrive in 1943. So basically, and then I rolled my random generator was January, February, May, June, July, August, October, and December. So we'll get 8 extra aircraft carriers in 43. Hosho, Taiyo, Kaio, Shinyo, Unyo, and Chuyo. These were your CVEs that we get decent. I turned all those into Ibuki classes. Senyo, Kaimoi, Kanasagara, Sanoki, Ataka and Kamikaze. These are AVs, or aviation tenders. We turned those into Ibuki classes. So we have 14 CVLs starting off at the beginning. We turned Kimikawa, which was an AV, to a Chitose class CS. Basically, we use Kimikawa. It's based in the home islands. This is resizing on my float plane squadrons, and then we can upgrade it to either a CVL, or we'll just leave it and use it as a float plane fighter carrier. The Graf Zeppelin, the Peter Strasser, we upgraded those to the Max Unlimited class with new air wings, and then that would be 36 BF-109s, 36 Stukas, and 21 of the, I want to say they're Stuka torpedo bombers. I-53 to 60 and I-403 to 413 at start to I-400 with planes. The Bismarck Interprets, we turned into a Prussian-class battleship. Nassau and Grosser to Kurfürst battleship. Seyditzrun, Ammerhipper, and Prince Eugen were upgraded to heavy cruisers Hindenburgs. All CLs. 2 mains except the Kitakaze classes. So I hate with a passion the Japanese light cruisers. So I turned them all into German light cruisers, which are basically heavy cruisers. They pack 6-inch guns. They have a huge heavy armor. I just get the Kitakami class with their 40 long-range torpedoes just for fun. And I didn't upgrade any of the Yodel and Nagano class. I don't mind so much, so I left those the same. Let's see where all but the Tone class and Mogami float planes have been turned to Kwachi, which is my large cruiser. So we got rid of we kept the Tones, which are long-range strike. I'm gonna use on raiding. And then Mogami float plane cruisers, I'm using it with my carriers as low cap with fighter float planes. Then we just turned them into large cruisers because they're mini battleships, basically. All German DDs with an upgrade to the Elben class. The Elben classes are the ridiculous 6-inch destroyers packing. I created 8 Kashino AKEs at the start. We took our 23 DMSs and turned those into Shimikazes. We took 30 sub-chasers, turned into Type C escorts. Those are going to be my escorts and probably anti-torpedo or anti-ASW, anti-submarine warfare ships. God, I'm a sonar technician. I'm messing up ASW. Forgive me, guys. It's been a long day. So basically, those will escort my tankers, and then I'll put those in the high value around the oil ports because they got great ASW. Added 3 Hokura CVs and 1 Mogami float plane cruiser for 34 points. Now, the reason this cost me so much compared to the other ones, as you can tell, all 8 of these only cost me 32. But to get 3 in this, I get this in June. I get this at the start, right? So I get these boom, boom, boom right away. We added 4. We took our 4 torpedo boats. I can't remember which ones. We turned those to Shimikazes, and we took our 4 patrol craft. And we turned those to Shimikazes. Then we took 90 destroyers, all the older destroyers. I went ahead and upgraded most of those at the start. Those are all going to be either Shimikaze or Akazuki class. Maybe I did basically all into that. So that's all the short range guys. Most of them. We just went ahead, upgraded them to Shimikazes, make them worthwhile. That way I don't have to spend time converting them, though we do get them. Then I did 34 ships for 17 points. Now, means I spent 17 points to add 20 experience to the ships. So I took their day fighting and night fighting XP, added 20 to them. So we got like some ships that are like in the 90s XP wise. All right, now we're getting down to the army. So for 105 points, we spent on the army. So we bought 9 heavy pounds and battalions, and 4 of them arrive in May, 2 in July, 1 in October, 1 in November, 1 in December. These are all showing up in 42. We added 3 guards divisions. We get those May, September, and August. And then I also added 3 tank divisions. So we get that in May, July, and October. So we have a hell of a lot of tanks. So you'll be seeing me expand our vehicle pool by quite a bit. So I added a second command HQ. So basically the Southern Army. I added a second one that's free for 9 for 8 points. I advanced the Raider Squadron, Japanese Raider Squadrons, 12 months. So we get those in, I want to say January of 42. We advanced the Infantry Squadron C, basically to now, so I can start upgrading to Squad C's either in January or December 19-1. So we can get our advance that. We advanced the Type 4 medium tank 1 year. We advanced the Panzer 5 Panther 6 months. So basically we'll use Type 4 medium tanks for like 6 months, then we'll switch over to the Panthers for 6 months, and then I advanced Tiger 2's 12 months. This so we get the King Tigers fast. I advanced the PaK 75mm 1 year. These is our anti-tank guns. So the 47mm tank anti-tank guns, those become, I want to say 57mm, and then they become 75mm German PaK guns. And I advanced that. We have to deal with his armor. Now, while we have a lot of tanks, I wanted anti-armor special units and also some of these in our divisions. We advanced the 40mm T05 AA 1 year. This is the best AA gun that I basically am going to get for the lighter guns. These are basically Bofors guns. They're the Japanese copy of the Bofors gun. They're not as good because it was a knockoff, but it's still the best we get, right? I added 50 engineers to all 7 starting naval construction brigades. Now, the reason I did this, because that puts them at 100 engineers, and they have 10 engineering vehicles. I may have mentioned we are playing where, in the beginning, we're doing like a kind of thing. You can actually change the map as you're playing to add in rail lines. We're playing where you can add rail lines into the game, but you have to have 100 engineers and 10 engineering vehicles in that hex in a certain amount of time period. So I just, all 7 naval construction brigades, they can sit in a hex by themselves, and they can start and they can build railroads. So that's what these guys will be doing. Added 5 extra artillery using this TOE, and I added 5 AA using this TOE for 10 points at the start. Those are in Cameron Bay. We'll take a look at those. I changed the 75mm T90 field gun to 15mm T96 gun. So that means this is the upgrade path, right? So all the 75mm T94 field guns we have will upgrade to 15mm T96 guns. So basically, we will be able to almost match the allies in artillery because we have changed ours to 15mm, which is basically 155. So it's the same thing that they use. But he won up me and advanced all his to 8-inch guns, which I don't have an equivalent of. So yes, we will try to keep it halfway even. He threw me a bone because that's a little OP. My other 15-inch gun that I have, we was able to we added the 21cm, which is basically the 8-inch version of the MRS of the Germans, into the game. So I'm allowed to, I have my own 8-inch guns, just nowhere near as many. Then I changed the 12cm T03 AA gun upgrade path to 10cm T98 dual purpose gun. Now this is the Akazuki AA gun, very good. It's the best one I can get. So our AA should have a little bit of a bite. And he also, to kind of offset the 8-inch gun, he let me upgrade, I think, the other version, the 12-inch or 12cm that I get, that I don't get as many of them. We added the German 88, so I get a dual-purpose flak gun, and it's good against tanks in my AA units, so I'll be able to use those as well. So those units will be traveling with the Army, because not only would they protect the Army from B-17s, decent, and they should be giving some hit against his tanks. Then we changed Western Army and Eastern Army to temporary restricted. So those are usually permanently restricted in the Hove Islands. They're headquarters that have a radius of 5. they turn them to temporary restricted, which means I can use political points to buy them out, and then I get a headquarters that has a range of 5 that does great. Now these the points that we spent on a leader, so I put a bunch of, oh, that's what that was. So when I said 150 points here, this was 150 points that I could add to a leadership skill, to a leader skill. So basically, this is a ID number in the database that for a leader. I added 12 points to his naval skill, probably to be either put it to 80 or 90. So these guys, these 10 guys, I added this many points. They all became 80 or 90. These like 1 point, 2 point, 2 points. These were all probably were like 70, high 70s. These all got them to 80. The supply, we put 50k in this hex, this 50k in this hex, 75k in this hex, 75k in this, and 50k. Most of this was all the starting bases for industry. That way, my turn 1, I could just knock out like all the R&D. And then the destroyers, we upgraded 90 destroyers, right? So we turned our 32 Fubikis to Shimakaze. The Kasumi, Arari, Gomo, Tanakazi, Hamakazi, Yurikazi, Isakazi, Kakero to Akisakukis. These were probably with one of my carrier groups, or with my carrier groups, so I gave them better AA. Shimakaze is more of a fighting destroyer, so the 10 Stratchus became Shimakazes, the 8 Hatsuros became Shimakaze, the other 10 of the Ashios became Shimakazes, the other 15 of the Kaguros became Shimakaze, and then I turned basically 3 of the Hashidate escorts to Shimakaze. And then these Namikaze, Waka, these were just extra that I added to it. And then when I say Night Fight and Destroyer XP, that I had 35 ships. Basically, all my battleships and all my large cruisers, plus the Rune and Sadits, which are the first 2 German ships I get, were given the 20 and 20 XP. So now we go to Cameron Bay. I can show you those units that we got. All right, so we added this AA unit. So this unit comes with the TOA. So it's going to have 8.8 flak meters. So we get our that Southern Army, they pack 8.8 88 flak. They pack the best Bulford guns we get. They have radar. This is my 5 units that I added for the AA. And then artillery, we added in this, which eventually this becomes like 36. These 1094s become that 75 minute, becomes 15 minute. So this will basically become, I believe, 36 of the 15 centimeter guns, and I believe this 10 centimeter T91 howitzer upgrades to the other ones, so it'll have 12 of my own 8-inch guns. And that was those extra armies that we added. So let's take a look. And ground unit schedule. What was that? Let's do armor. This is heavy tank battalion. All right, these are the heavy tank battalions that I bought. We come in with 20 Tiger 1s and then 25 medium type tanks, Type 1 medium tanks that will upgrade to Type 4 originally, and then these will become Panthers later on. So these are the heavy tank battalions that I added. And then obviously those tank divisions I added. And then if we go farther, that's just the armor. If we go to infantry, these are the guard divisions that I added. That is basically all that we added in our variants. Let's pull this up real quick, see if there's anything else I need to show you. I can show you all the XP on some of our ships. So all our battleships. So let's just look at the Congo, right? So we have an 85, 89 battleship, and this is about all of them ended up with. So we all have high 80s in the battleships. Let's take a look at the carriers. I can show you like the captain. Come on. So he has a naval of 86. So this is like all 80s, high naval skill, because naval skill is what makes you dodge torpedoes. So that's all my captains on. All my carriers are super high, and all the battleships are all at least 75 plus. And then what we got? Let's see. Raiders. Yeah, we can show you the stats of the reason I upgraded these. So infantry squadron. All right. So he really wanted the U.S. Raider Squadrons. Like, he really wanted to add these in. So we made a deal. He wanted to use these U.S. Raider Squadrons. They're pretty. I mean, they're ridiculously strong. I mean, in 43 they become 55 anti-armor, 40 anti-soft. Uh, Basically, we changed this. He gets this start to start. He'll have these 55, 40. He switched out the Vicar squads, which are the Commonwealth machine gun squadrons, to those. And for him to allow that to do that, basically my cavalry squadrons. So these cavalry squads, these 521, is what became my Raider Squadrons. So I basically traded all my cavalry squadrons to 521 for 30, 40. He changed his Vickers sections. Let's see if I can. I think they're actually listed as Vickers section. Let's go down here. Yeah, so these Vickers section were 530. He changed to that in 7532. I think I got the better end of the deal on this. So he changed out his, squad to that. Okay. Especially when you go look at it. Let's take a look. I actually had dedicated cavalry squadrons. He doesn't get cavalry squadrons. So some of these that normally you wouldn't ever see me do this, but I'm like taking cavalry squadrons out of like Manchukuo that I would normally leave. I think there was one somewhere like, come on. It was like, why was I moving some of these? Come on, come on. I can find one of these guys right here. Yeah, first Manchukuo Calf Brigade. Well, this is actually not what I'm going to need because it's IMA. It's not the correct thing. But I have dedicated cavalry squadrons, and even better, you go to my divisions. Most of them have cavalry squadrons. So I'm replacing, put like 30 to 40 special forces in all my divisions. So I think he got a bad end on that deal, but he really wanted it, and so he really wanted to fight for that. So I was like, okay. Now we can go look at the other changes that we did. Let's see, not this one. We want to go look at artillery. So the anti-tank guns is basically, eventually we're going to get up to 75 millimeter pack guns is where we're working on. So these will let me penetrate most of his 25 pack 40 has an anti-armor of 151. So that's going to let me penetrate most things. Now, even with me upgrading it by year, I still don't get it to 43. But hopefully by the time he gets that, that means we'll have that. Now, to be fair, also I do have those anti 88s which have a 225, so those will be, and they're dual purpose, so they can be used in defense. So yeah, here's your is 8-inch min 1 silent, has an anti-armor of 100 but has an anti-soft of 73 with a range of I want to say 17. That's the Howard. No, there it is. Here's one. So 109 anti-armor, 74 anti-soft, range of 35. That's his go-to artillery piece. We got the 21 centimeter. It's not as good, but best we could get. So we added in the 21 German centimeter. We got a better, not as good anti-armor, but we have a better anti-soft than him, but our range is nowhere near as good as his. Basically, he just put heavy cruisers in all his infantry. He definitely wins that one. The infantry that we upgraded to was our Japanese Sea Squads. So they have a little bit of anti-armor, not much, but they have a anti-staff at 27. This is the best squad we get. So we get this available in 42 in January. So we can start upgrading in January to that. And to get an idea, I believe U.S. Rifle Squadron, yeah, ours is 27. He gets 37. So, but it's close. We can keep it within shouting range. We're not going to just get completely crushed. That's our hope there. So we went over the variants. We showed you the new forces that I added. Now we're going to go ahead and show you our industry. So all industry, we're just going to turn it on. I have added a bunch to my heavy industry here, about 595. This might even go up even more to pay for this new crazy system that we're going to need. We've added 101 armament. This will probably go up a lot more. I put a lot of points in adding to the pools. We've already made our vehicle to about 500. That's probably going to go up even more. as we go. All right, so engines. We have 10 engines researching the Hot 43. We want to get this as early as possible. We want to get these built up as possible because we want to get that engine bonus so we can start advancing planes. And then 95, again, we spent this to go get it earlier, and we have another 10 engines on that. And then we had 3 engines on the turbojet. And then honestly, once these get as early as possible, we'll probably trade off like several of these factories to turbojet to get the turbojets. We will probably be playing with jet fighters this game, maybe even early. So this is a realistic R&D off. So this is just the ones that I couldn't change. Duty C's, we're going to be building these up. We'll probably leave one of these factories on, but the rest of these are going to go to MERT. So these are designed to get us to MERT. Everything goes in a path. So these will be MERTs, which are, so we'll leave 4 of them on to get that as soon as possible. I don't even know if we'll be able to get this completely up fixed by February. I cannot change Liz. These are the recon ones. I can't change these. I can't really research them. We'll get them in February anyways. These are just because I'm going to build this many of them. Nick, these were already at 30. I didn't want to spend them. They can go ahead and start rushing these. I put 4 other factories into Nick to get these. Nick actually upgrades. We have 6 of the factories on there. Nick's actually upgrade to Randy, so they'll be basically our Night Fighter re-Nicks, and then Randy, and so on and so forth. 2 Hellens. These will, we have, how many in Helen? We have 5 in Hellens. These upgrade to Peggy. So these will be, the 60 will become what we produce, and the other 4 will keep advancing those. The A-Liz, and this is the bombers, the long heavy range bombers, so we'll be getting those. We can't research them, but starting in February, we'll get them. Now, real R&D. All right. We have 9 on the roofs. All right. We're going to be using this factory here to produce the roofs that we need. The other 9 are going to research up to, I want to say N1 K1 Rex. It's a float fighter that has like a 300 and something speed. It's going to be our float planes for Megamis and anything else we use for defense for low cap. So these guys are on that. Now we have 25 factories on zeros. Now, the reason we have 25 factories on zeros is because these upgrade to Sam and Sam 3. We're not going George this game. We're throwing everything into zeros to get to the end game Sam as quick as possible. Now, these 2 factories here will be producing our factory. So we're starting off, we're going to be producing about 300. And then the rest of them will be researched as quick as possible. Now, we have 9 in Kate's. Now, these are going to be going to Grace. I haven't decided if I'm going to try to build any actual Judy's. Judy 4s for the 800 kilogram bomb. I'm thinking I might just stick with Grace and just use Grace everywhere. It simplifies the production, and we get that. So we have one of these guys building it, and the rest are just going to upgrade to Grace as soon as possible. We have 6 on Betty. I'm actually not going to produce any Bettys really, but these upgrade into Francis. So these are going to be our upgrade pass to that. So we'll just kind of switch all 6 of these over into research as soon as they get fixed. Mavis, we're just building Mavises. I'm not really in a big rush to get to Emily, so we'll just let those come in naturally. I think we get Emily in August of next year. Not a big deal. We got 10 in Oscar. Now, Oscar goes to Tony. Now, Tony's a little bit better in this game. What I wanted to get. Let's go to planes. So, all right. The reason we're taking Sam, 425 speed plus a 20 maneuverability. It's less maneuverable than George, the in-game George, but it has a little bit more durability and a better gun. That's the reason we're going all in on Sam's, and it's got a range of 7 and 8. I think George. Did I pass it? I'm blind. And, okay, the in-game George is slower. It's got more maneuverability, but it's a weaker gun, and it's got only 1 extra range of hex. So I think I'm going with speed, and it's a tougher gun. That's the reason I didn't spend any on George. Now Tony is going to go up to eventually the KI 100 Tony here. So Yeah, 100 Tony. This will be our primary, I think, sweeper. Got an 10 max range heads for sweeping. 107 screw, 21 maneuverability, 20 gun value. We'll take that. And then the KI2 Tony with that upgrades is a little bit slower, but it's got 6 20 cannons. It's got a short. So this would be our kind of like defensive army gun. So that's the way Oscars are doing. And then the Tojos go to Frank. Now, Frank is down here. All right. So Frank, it's decent. It's got an 8, 10. Got goals. Not as quick. But the Frank KI-87 has a top speed of 437. So outside of, getting into the jet range, we're really looking at, top speed there. And then obviously once we get jets, 467, but it doesn't have a range at all. But hey, you have to give up some. I think that's the quickest, the fastest plane we get. Well, other than the Stella, that biplane, scout plane. Figure that speed of 11,196. No, the Shusi, but again, this has a range of 1. So, Shinden. Is that the pusher? Yeah, that's pusher. 540. 8 and 10. Well, that's probably it's carrier capable, so those will probably be what we want to do. Eventually, that's what we will try to get into. Now, let's go ahead and look at the name. All right, so as you can tell, AS zeros goes up into Sam, Kates go to Grace, and then our German fighters. Mertz are the Judys, so we get up to this recon of a 19 on a carrier. I'll take that all day. It even packs a bomb. Not much of a bomb. Grace, what are you packing? All right, so it's not the 50 kilogram bomb, so it's kind of nice because it packs either 800 kilogram bomb on regular load. It has radar. We have an 18-inch torpedo or 500 kilogram at long range. So I believe Judy is not much better. So it's either 800 kilogram bomb, which is the same that Grace is packing, or the same, or it's this armor piercing bomb. Yeah, I'll keep the. I'll take Grace over that because the max speed of 350 versus max speed of 352. But you have a range of 10 and 13. Armor is 30. Everybody's 18. What is Judy for? 1. Yeah. Yep. So we're just gonna go. We're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with Grace, all in on Grace. And then Betty's, you can see, goes up to Francis, and Francis we're happy with. What goes into this? I'd have to see. That's not the one we wanted. Which one did we? Was it Shinden that we wanted? Oh yeah, it is Shinden. So that goes into Shinden. So we might secondary switch to some of these after we get some of the other ones. I'm not sure what goes into Jack. We'd have to see what builds into Jack here. I haven't thought that far, but Tony's obviously from Oscar line is going to there. Randy's, these are going to be from the Knicks, so that'll be our primary night fighter right there. Decent speed, we'll take those all day. And then Helen, Oscars, Tony, Tojos, and to Frank. Frank is nice. All right, Helen's into Peggy's. Peggy's will be our primary bomber as far as that. So medium bomber, packed 8, like twice the load of a Sally. It's got armor. It's got a deeper range, so that'd be kind of nice. And then Peggy B is got basically the missile. And then obviously Peggy's T packs 218. Well, it's only got a 14-inch strike range, well, it's actually 17 at 1, but it's also got 2 torpedoes. So that's an army bomber with torpedoes, so it's kind of nice. we'll have a couple of those, and then obviously Frank, then KI-94 or KI-94 2, which is the top end of the Frank line, which is, I think this is like the supposed to be, I want to say, I can't remember what this was supposed to be. I don't know if this was like a copy of like a Mustang or something, or if it was supposed to be like a copy of like a German aircraft. But I mean, that's a decent bomber, fighter, 6'8", packing a 500-kilogram bomb on a fighter. I'll take that. Oh, interesting. George goes into Rex, which, okay, here's the top end of our float fighters. 304, that's a decent low range. I'll keep that all day. I put those at 5K, they'll shoot down torpedo bombers all day. So, and yeah, 6 and 7. Yeah, I just rather keep that. And then Francis, this would be our primary medium bomber. Packing the missile with radar. Francis 2, yeah, 2 torpedoes. This would be our primary naval bomber. It's only got a range of 11 and 13, but it does have radar and it does have armor. So, I believe that's 2. So what's it? 13, 11, and 2. With Francis is 11 and 14. Yeah. So that's what we're giving up. We're giving up range for basically armor and an extra torpedo, which is fine. That's a fair trade, I say. So yeah, that's basically our industry. That's our plan here. We're not really gonna upgrade anything on shipping. It's gonna take me a while to figure out the shipping, because if we look at our building queue here, we'll just look at CVs. So ETA, right? Right now our naval shipyard estimate is 7,000, pretty much. Right now we got 3,000 naval shipyards, but it's 7,000. Now I have to kind of figure this out. We're gonna have to wait a couple turns because it's counting in all our forces that are coming in through convoys. So these show up. These are in the pool, but they're not actually using points. So as you can tell, this is adding up a lot of things. I have to figure out how many points these are. I'm probably gonna have to do this in Tracker, and I'm not sure if I really need to accelerate things, or if we even can. Even with 3,000 points, I'm not sure if we can accelerate anything, because if you look at it, I mean, we're building a lot of CVs. I mean, Shinano is probably costing me ridiculous amount of points. Let's see if I change this. Is it? So if I accelerate Shinano by itself, that's an extra. All right, so 69, almost 500 points, just accelerating Shinano. So we might have to build some of these ships. These don't really matter. I'm not going to get them to C85, and then we'll probably accelerate those just because they're merchant yards, and we're not really worried about merchants. You know, we got to finish up Kurama. That's, what, 187 points? Yeah, so we got this battleship. With Kokshi, we got to finish this battleship. I think it's Key that's really, yeah, Key's a Yamato. That's taking up a lot of points right there. And then Tosa is an A150 that's taking up a lot of points. So these battleships are taking up a lot of points in 42. We're just going to have to see where we're at. I'm not going to spend a lot of points on accelerating any of these. I don't think I'll accelerate any of these. I usually do, but we have radar and all that, and we need it. So we're not going to do that. So we're not really going to, like I said, we're not going to accelerate anything until I can figure it out, and that might be a month. I'm going to have to open up Tracker, and we really have to do some hard math, and I'm not stressed about it. We have enough extra carriers for my variants that I don't think I need to accelerate anything, and kind of just slowly build everything, I think. But that is our inventory, or that is our industry, our R&D, and my variants. So hopefully we will go over the next video. We'll show you where all our toys are that we spent and where they head, and then we will video after that will be the turn. This is actually the second after the first turn has been played. I've already saved over it, so I couldn't show you from the beginning, but we will go over our strategy with all our new toys on before the turn, and then I will have a video with the turn itself. So I'll catch you guys later.